First, I agree with him that INEC is biased. There's no basis to compress primaries at this point when campaign will still take a long time to start. So what's the rationale of forcing parties to finish their primaries by May, even when you have up to that many months to begin campaign? So what would they be doing? So I think if it was an error, it's a grievous error. I support that INEC should have extended the period from primaries, and that would enable the parties to be properly grounded. But it's what it is, and I think the parties do well to overcome that challenge of time. I'll make 3 key points. The first relates to what it means to be a member of a movement, the Obidient movement, the Kwankwaso movement, and now the OK movement. A movement suggests a direction. A direction in politics is often symbolized in a person. It doesn't mean that that person is perfect. It means that that person represents the core values of the direction or embodies his words or performance or profile where we want to get to. Since 2022 and 2023 election, the Obidient movement has been constructed around the mission and the person of Mr. Peter Obi. And the reason is not paternalistic or just flimsy. The reason is that all significant change in history happens when an idea crystallizes and embodied by a group of people. So whether it's China, since 1978 under Deng. Deng was a member of the Communist Party. He is an old brigade. But when Mao died and the Gang of Four ruled briefly, Deng took over. But Deng was a man, even though he's of the old order, his heartbeat is for the new order. He had an idea of structural and systematic disruption. And that's why China made the call. So some of us who identify Mr. Peter Obi as the rallying point and the anchor, and I'll come to Dr. Senator Kwankwaso later, is because even though he belongs to the political establishment, no doubt, he has been a governor twice, so obviously he's not as a newcomer like me or you. But we rightly see that he is the one whose pedigree can help us disrupt and reconstruct. Why I'm saying this, therefore, is that building on what my guy said, a member of a movement has to be strategic. And what that means that your first commitment is to achieve the cardinal mission of the movement. In this case, to get this team elected. Is that clear? You are not a good member of a movement if your primary objective is to get yourself elected. It's a movement with a vision of Nigeria and all history. In Japan, the same happened. In Korea, with General Park, people came around, ran around him, and they knew that if he gets there, he will change the country. That's how it works. That has always worked, and that's how it will work. So my first message is that if you want to win and achieve the vision, first, be very clear that your first central mission is to elect these two into office. Then, your secondary mission is perhaps to get yourself elected together with them. You will be failing if you succeed in B and miss in A. You will fail. The movement succeeds when the people who symbolize them are elected. The second point that flows from this is that there's a reason why we are all here together, for a better Nigeria. In 2007, when President Yar'Adua won election, and Mr. Ojo Malekwa was the secretary, and Alhaji, former senator, what's his name, the chairman of PDP then, Amadi Ali was the chairman. I was part of those who conceived for them the first ever, maybe the only one, summit of elected candidates elected from House of Reps. The President was there, and Jonathan was there, Obasanjo was there. And the key point for that summit is that to be elected is one thing, to know what to do is a different thing. The problem has always been that people smartly get themselves elected, but don't know what to do to achieve that objective. And I spoke with our leader, Senator Gibson, great man. I think the good thing this party has, he has a warrior who is tested in the militancy, in the environmental, in the human rights struggle in the Niger Delta, which I was a key member as one of the leading lawyers for Ken Sam. So I can attest to his understanding of strategy of warfare. But the party has told me that this party needs to be trained so that when they win, when it's won, when we win election, we will govern well. And I think that's the point that this summit is all about. Is that it's a privilege to have the ticket of a political party. But more important is that it's an opportunity to advance the values and the goals of the party. We should learn from history. The collapse of PDP, so to say, is not because it's made up of vermins and demons. It was because the party was carried away by the euphoria of its power. And they forget that as a fundamental compact with the Nigerian people, that ultimately the people will judge whether the party has delivered for them. I remember how I struggled after PDP lost the election in 2015, and I told them, everybody, I said, start rebuilding, reconnect back to the people. Today, they are still in the post of power and office, and the disarray continues. Because they didn't use the opportunity of that failure to rebuild and recreate commitment back to the people. And so this party's vision of service to the people would not make any sense if we, the people, who want to go and aspire and use the momentum, nothing wrong about it. Many people have come in, Oga has said it, coming from APC, PDP. Yes, there's a momentum, everybody has a momentum. But the question is, what will you use that momentum to achieve? So my message this morning is that the party has agreed, and I hope they will do that, to put all of you into a crash program. As you take a ticket, maybe in a couple of days, you will be subjected to continuous education. Maybe 2-3 hours in a week, you go online and you will be taught some of the crises of development. So if you go to the National Assembly, you will be taught how you can work to generate laws that can solve those problems. The leaders are showing me that Abuja School will play a role to help prepare the curriculum to make sure that before you win the election, you have got much more updated. You are all smart people with PhDs and with some of your professors, engineers. But then there will be some training so that not just winning, NDC will achieve the mission of saving this country. And let's not forget, Nigerian voters are always flexible. They turn around. If they elect you, you don't perform, they swing to their end. So none of us have a privilege of continuous anointing to be in office. Every anointing expires 4 years. If you fail, the anointing will disappear, and we look for somebody else to anoint. We are not carrying an eternal anointing. If you fail, the Spirit will leave you. The final point I would like to make is this, therefore. Politics is the art of the possible. What that means, it's not the science of the possible. What is possible is not empirically established. In 2023, I was going to run for governor. Tango was here. Maybe he tricked me, maybe. You treat me. He said, oh, Oga said, please step down. So I say, are you sure Oga said this? He said, yes. I tried to call Oga, the phone was not working. But because he has been a comrade, when I started the National Conscience Party with Chief Gary Fawemi, he was one of our leaders and he took over and did what I said, thank you, you are my comrade. This guy will not win. He hasn't got the capacity. He doesn't have popularity. All this so-called capacity, he will bring a general in Nigeria retired has only his own security. He can't even commandeer the military. Everything I said was true. But I said, if you say, Oga said, I will. You failed. Now, why is that so? You see, leadership must go with loyalty. Many of you will be asked to maybe step down for another person. I will encourage you to step down. Elections, 4 years is not eternity. Biden has been a senator for 40-something years. But he was vice president to a young boy who had been a senator for less than 4 years. And he accepted to be vice president. And was one of the most loyal vice presidents. After him, he was supposed to run for president. They said, don't run. Allow the Clintons to run. The Clintons ran and failed. Is that not correct? Then he ran. They later said, come and run again. They endorsed him. He ran, became president. Second time, they said, you are too old, don't run. Yeah. He did what? He agreed. You see, that's how an organized system works. We can't all run at the same time. You can't all run at the same time. Some will run first, some will come later. But those who come later may have a more glorious career than those who ran first. So I know it's difficult. I know all of us have opportunities there. You have to take it, as I say. But don't forget that every movement survives on the basis of loyalty to a cause, symbolized by a person, and willingness to see a bigger picture. There's always a bigger picture. The office is not as big. Something is bigger than it. So I encourage us to all aspire within a movement, accept rules, accept fairness. When the outcome doesn't favor you, accept the outcome. And the final point I'll make is this before I sit down. I think that we are at a threshold of history. We can make history. There's something fantastic about the Obidient movement. And I tell you what it is. I have studied the development of countries in the world. I've read development economics. I've read political theory. I can conclude on a few things. One of the most fundamental things is in a multi-ethnic, multi-religious society, you can't attain development without a pan-political coalition. This coalition is beyond electing the doer to office. This coalition can be the beginning of undoing all the problems, misunderstanding, wrong beliefs about ourselves. It can be the beginning of another golden age when the handshake across the divide can be cemented. May we not miss this opportunity. I'm happy to see people like Dixon wearing coppers here. There should be intermarriage. There should be mainstreaming. We can be one. Nigerians, we can make this movement recreate the Nigeria that the leaders have destroyed. And let me end by making this point clear. There is more that keeps us together than divide us. Our divisions are arbitrary and unnatural. Our togetherness and oneness is more natural. Can you imagine? Does anything distinguish between me and my Oga Buba Gladima? We had series of meetings before this day. Each of those meetings in my office were seamless. No disagreement, no dissonance, no presumption. Nothing like this is a Muslim Northerner. It was as if people of the same blood were meeting and we agreed, not one item was separate. I used to teach at University of Legislative Studies. One of my class, PhD class, one of my best candidates, my best friend, one Muslim woman married very old woman, but she always comes to my office after every class. And she gives me the correct information. And after that, she will stay by my office and pray. After praying there, she will come to the table, we eat and discuss. I said, Hajia, what did he say? Every guidance she gave me was I became successful. So that's a natural thing that we are together and divided. Let this movement be the bet of a new Nigeria where we will not be discriminated against or divided against. Together, you people can make Nigeria great again. Thank you so much.